lot of people that live in their vehicles ideally like to work online and travel a lot, or they work odd jobs while they're on the road. And I don't. So today I'm going to tell you why. So the biggest reason why I don't work online is because I am terrible at doing desk jobs. I have a really hard time sitting still for 8 hours a day plus, and doing it in a vehicle. I mean, it might be a little bit better than doing it in an office and having to commute every day, stuff like that, but I start feeling, really depressed, and I get physically ill, after doing that for maybe a month or two. So it really doesn't work for me to work full-time online. For those of you who've been on my channel for a long time, there was a point in time where I was thinking, I'm going to go look for online jobs and it'll just be a temporary thing, and I'll get my YouTube channel going or something else. I'll figure out some other way of doing things. I'll just work online temporarily. But the thing is, I have kind of the wrong skill set as well for that type of work. So I was a double major in both mechanical engineering and piano performance, and I've actually spent most of my adult life teaching piano, not doing engineering so much. I'm kind of out of that world. I don't really enjoy it very much, and I haven't actually done any engineering work in at least 10 years now. And surprisingly enough, even though most mechanical engineering jobs are desk jobs, there aren't a lot of opportunities online to do much more than drafting. And a lot of those types of drafting sorts of jobs can be done online, which means they can be done from anywhere in the world. And so the prices people are willing to pay for that kind of work reflect the prices people are willing to work for in places like India, where they have really good engineers, but the cost of living is so much lower that they don't necessarily need the income that someone in the US would. The vast majority of remote work or work online types of jobs that I found that pay a reasonable wage and would actually allow me to travel tend to fall into the programming and IT types of jobs. Things like software engineers, that type of stuff. So I've actually been coding since I was in 3rd grade because I grew up a block away from Microsoft campus, and I did a little bit of coding, of course, in college as well as part of my engineering degree. I just don't like it. It's not a good fit for me. I'm probably not great at it either because I just don't really enjoy it that much. It's one thing if I'm programming a microprocessor to do something as part of a larger project. I don't mind doing that so much, but just to be sitting there coding all day, it sounds like a complete nightmare to me. So I don't think I'm going to go down that route, and it's just not a good fit for what I'm doing now. It's not a good fit for what I'm trying to do either. I know there are also a lot of virtual assistant jobs out there, but most of the ones I've seen don't pay as much as I'm making now, and it's actually really important that I keep my income up. Which brings me to the next reason why I work a regular 9-to-5 job, and that is because I actually need a fairly decent income, since I have lots of debt that I'm trying to repay as quickly as possible. Now, I didn't go out on some big shopping spree or anything like that. I do have student loans, but they're not huge, nothing too crazy. Most of my high interest debt is paid off already, and as soon as my bus sells, the rest of my high interest debt is going to be completely gone. And so that's not as much of a concern anymore, but I do have a personal loan, and it was from an emergency, and there just wasn't any other way to get the money to keep myself going and pay for the expenses I needed to pay for it. And I can't really talk about that yet, but I'm trying to pay off just a huge amount of debt right now. If I keep making what I'm making now, I'm on track to paying that off in about 5 to 7 years. I think 5 years is actually more realistic, and I have plans on reducing that amount of time by increasing my income. But if I reduce my income, I could do it temporarily. If, say, my YouTube channel was making lots of progress getting going, and I saw that I was on track to making as much as I'm making now, I would quit my job tomorrow and I'd be all over that, and that would be perfect. And obviously that's the ideal, but I do need that income fairly quickly so that I don't have all this debt sucking the life out of me like it is right now. Of course, there is also the question of whether or not I actually need to be 100% debt free before I do anything else. And as much as that would be the ideal for me, I do have several different loans that I can pay off and get those payments down. So if I see an opportunity that requires me to drop my income temporarily, I can take it. And so that is a possibility. And again, if my YouTube channel got going, that's probably what I would do. I don't know exactly when or if that's ever going to happen, but if it happens within like the next year or two, I could, theoretically anyways, pay off some of my loans so that my payments are lower, just make minimum payments for a couple of months while my new source of income gets going. So that's a definite possibility, but we'll see. So the biggest reasons why I work 9 to 5 are it's just an income problem, and I am terrible at doing desk work and sitting still for long periods of time. So you might be wondering, do I plan on just working a 9 to 5 like this forever? And the answer is no. So there's basically two different things that could happen. So if my YouTube channel does start making progress fairly soon, and feel free to subscribe and help out my channel. Obviously, YouTube is the way to go. I prefer being self-employed. I've done that before. I think I can do a lot with this channel, and that would be a lot of fun for both myself and hopefully my viewers as well. That would be my absolute ideal. However, I realize that may not be a possibility, and even if my channel gets monetized within the next couple of months, it might take a little while before I can actually leave my current job, just because I know YouTube channels do take a little while to build and monetize and find ways of making money. So I can't rely on that, of course, right now because my channel is just way too small. What I'm likely to do, and in some ways it's not ideal, but I can get paid a lot better if I change to a slightly different type of driving job. So as I'm sure you can see, I'm currently an Amazon DSP driver, so I drive Amazon vans delivering Amazon packages. What I could do temporarily just to make a lot more money and hopefully free up more time, and that's the part where it could be a problem, is I have a couple of different ways I could potentially go out and get my commercial driving license, or at least the permit. And even if you have a permit, there's enough places that are desperate for truck drivers even now that I should be able to find a job and finish my CDL training within a month or two. Of course, I could also just go to truck driving school, but that's actually really expensive for me, and I don't qualify for any financial assistance or anything. There's no government programs in my area for me, so that wouldn't really be an option. But truck driving school would be another way to go. And then once I'm out there, I know of several places that are starting their truck drivers off at significantly higher wages that I'm getting paid now, and so that would either allow me to pay off my debt a lot faster or free up some time, although I know truck drivers are very busy these days. Even truck drivers that are on local routes, they tend to work a lot of hours, which I already work a lot of hours, so it's not ideal, but it would get me out of debt faster. And I really do need to pay off this debt so that I can have a lot more flexibility in what I'm doing. I can afford to take a little bit more risk. I am looking to leave the area where I'm living right now. It's a beautiful area, but it's super expensive. Most of Western Washington, especially the more populated areas, it's just really overpriced, and it really holds me back just trying to do anything. So having a CDL would make it a lot easier for me to relocate. Truck drivers jump jobs a lot, and there's a lot of openings, truck drivers everywhere, and it doesn't matter where you live, there's always a job for a truck driver. So that could potentially give me a little bit more flexibility in where I'm based out of. And then from there, I would have a lot more resources to keep building this channel, or potentially find a piece of real estate that I could buy so I go back to teaching. Something like that. I don't really know at this point exactly how that would go, but just having a higher income would make a really big difference in my budget and give me a lot more freedom. Having said all that, my focus, at least till the end of summer, is getting this YouTube channel going. I'm really pushing hard, trying to get as many subscribers as I can by the end of summer. So thank you all for subscribing. I know I've had a lot of new subscribers lately, and I have seen a lot of growth on my YouTube channels. So feel free to like this video, share it with friends, and we'll see if we can get this channel off the ground. It really is the ideal. YouTube really suits my skills the best, and it's also just by far the most fun.